The Steam Deck is still the go-to for having a mobile PC gaming experience. And even in today's market with all the competitors that are out there, it's still just something that you can't beat in terms of price to performance. I've looked online for all sorts of accessories that are out there to elevate my gaming experience, and I found some that are relatively inexpensive. They're just cheap to buy, some that are even as low as $9. In this video, I'm going to talk about all of them. Some I've had for a couple of months, some I've had for a couple of weeks, but overall, these are accessories that aren't going to break the bank and leave you more money to buy games. The first thing that I wanted to go ahead and talk to you guys about is the Ugreen Nexode 100-watt charger. Now, Ugreen, they are kindly sponsoring this video, but they sent this my way, and as somebody that travels a lot for work, I gotta say, I really like this adapter. I take a lot of my handhelds with me or other devices with me whenever I'm traveling, just for either work or leisure, whatever it may be, and being able to combine 4 adapters into one just makes life so much easier, and you're able to travel, and this just doesn't take as much space as 4 individual adapters. The way that I tested this out is I plugged this into a power strip. I plugged in my Steam Deck to see whether or not it would get as much power as it needs, which obviously at 100 watts it would. Then I plugged in my Asus ROG Ally, then I plugged in my son's iPad, and then I plugged in my cell phone to finally see if everything would get enough power delivery throughout its charging time. I left this on for about 30 minutes and everything worked as it should. I never got the dreaded slow charger notification on my Steam Deck, and I was able to just game without having to worry about anything at all. If you're considering something to take with you whenever you're traveling, or something to just declutter 4 adapters and combine it into one, this is probably the way that you want to go ahead and go. If you want to add an extra layer of protection to your Steam Deck, there's a variety of cases that are out there. Now, I initially wanted to go with Dbrand's Kill Switch, but when I went to buy it, it was delayed by a month and change. So I decided to go ahead and go with JSAUX ModCase because it was readily available and I could buy it on Amazon right then and there. As of right now, at the time of this recording, it's $26.99 to buy this case. And not only do you get the case for the Steam Deck itself, you also get a front cover that protects the Steam Deck's screen as well as analog sticks. With that case, there's also a little kickstand that you can use to set up a tabletop mode, and there is a strap that you can attach to the back of the Steam Deck case, and this allows you to connect a power bank and have it kind of just hanging there so you can go ahead and continue gaming without having to worry about the battery running out. On top of that, there is a cover for the Steam Deck dock, and what this does is that it allows for the Steam Deck with the case installed to comfortably and securely sit on the actual dock. You're still going to have all of the functionality that you have because all of the I/O on the backside of the Steam Deck dock is readily available, and that USB that is coming from the dock connects comfortably onto the Steam Deck, and that case doesn't get in the way of that at all. So you don't have to worry about any weird dongles or weird additions in terms of getting access to that USB port. Sometimes when I use my Steam Deck, I need to go into the backside of it. I need to go into desktop mode in order to adjust specific settings or tweak things to my own liking, and I prefer to have a mouse and keyboard in order to do that. When I'm traveling though, I like to take this foldable keyboard with me from GimiBox. It's currently $29.99 on Amazon, and for the price and functionality, I mean, it works. You open it up, you can connect it via Bluetooth to any device. It doesn't have to be the Steam Deck. It can be anything that's an Android device or even Windows. As long as there's some form of keyboard input in the OS, you can use it. The battery life lasts around 30 days on standby. In terms of full use, you could get a couple of days without actually needing to recharge. The one thing that I don't like about it is that this USB port that's here is micro USB instead of actually USB-C. I prefer USB-C just because it doesn't wear and tear as fast as micro USB. But aside from that, for the price at $29.99, this is a winner easily. I think I'm going to post this in every single YouTube video that I have talking about accessories. You need to go ahead and take into consideration how easy it is to get a micro SD card and expanding your storage with it. The prices range from $20 to $110 depending on your storage and what options you go for. But if you're going to buy a micro SD card, make sure that it is an A2 micro SD card. That means that the read and write speeds are just faster overall in comparison to the A1. So you have less chance of any sort of lagging or frame drops or whatever it is that you're using on your Steam Deck or any other device that takes in a micro SD card. I cannot stress this enough. Samsung, they honestly regularly have their SD cards on sale. They're readily available, and at 512 gigabytes, I feel like that's like a good middle ground where you have your onboard storage as well as your expanded storage. So you'll be able to kind of get in all sorts of AAA titles as well as indies in the middle, and even some AA titles as well. So if you're going to expand your storage, the easiest way to do it, microSD, go and do it. Listen, I love to take my Steam Deck whenever I'm traveling. I like to take my Steam Deck pretty much anywhere. I mean, whether it's on the toilet, in bed, or traveling in a plane or whatever it may be. And I like to protect my Steam Deck as much as I can, and that's where a screen protector comes into play. amFilm, I've been using them literally for years, before this YouTube channel was even a thing. I use them for my cell phones. I use them for my screen on my Switch, and that's really old, guys. I use it for now my Steam Deck. I use it for my Asus ROG Ally. I pretty much use it for everything. It's just my go-to in terms of having a screen protector, and it has done so much to protect my devices. So if there's one screen protector that I recommend, it's amFilm. Go for it. It's just do it. It's worth it. Now, when it comes to controllers, it's a bit of a finicky subject because everybody has different preferences. Now, some people, they prefer the way that the DualSense feels, or the Xbox Series controller feels, or even the Nintendo Switch Pro controller feels. I personally prefer the way that the 8BitDo Ultimate Bluetooth controller feels. Because of it having Hall sensing joysticks, I don't have to worry about any sort of drift in the future, and the programmable buttons that are on the back make it easy to program specific things. There's also turbo functionality, and just the software overall that comes with this controller is really awesome and allows for a lot of customization. This does support not only Bluetooth but also 2.4 gigahertz connectivity, so you're able to go ahead and connect this controller quite easily between two different devices. And the charging station, or the charging dock that comes with this, also houses the 2.4 gigahertz dongle, so you don't have to worry about losing any sort of connectivity, and this also acts as a 2.4 gigahertz dongle. Once you go ahead and have this here, it automatically goes ahead and starts charging, and once you're ready to game, all you got to do is pull it off, and boom, you're set and ready to go with whatever this is connected to. Another thing to mention with this controller is that I really like the D-pad on this. I prefer to use this controller over any of the other controllers that are out there from the big three whenever I'm playing any sort of fighting games. It just feels much more natural, and that my inputs are just registered the right way. Whenever I was playing games like Guilty Gear Strive or Dragon Ball FighterZ, this was just a better overall experience in terms of my inputs. Another third-party option that bears mentioning is the Gulikit King Kong 2 Pro controller. Now, if you're used to gaming on an Xbox Series S controller or X controller, you're going to feel right at home with this because the form factor is pretty much identical. When it comes down to the joysticks, they're Hall sensing, so you don't have to worry about drift over a long extended period of time. And this isn't something that you just have to use with PC. You can also connect it to your Nintendo Switch. You can connect it to your Windows device, obviously, and Android. If you have a device that supports D input, you can also use that with this as well. I do like the fact that you don't have to use a piece of software on your computer or whatever it may be to adjust the settings on this. Everything is done with this multi-function key that's in the center, and combining that with all sorts of different button combinations means that you can adjust things like your gyroscope, your vibration intensity, or things like that. The face button themselves, they're actually mechanical, and they feel honestly awesome. It's something that you really have to feel for yourself in order to experience, but overall it's awesome. I've been gaming on this on my PC as well as on my Nintendo Switch, and I've never really had to worry too much about charging it because I have my USB-Cs here, and I'll just plug it right in and I'll just go ahead and game from there. So this is something to consider if you aren't a fan of 8BitDo and you just want something that feels a little tiny bit more premium, then this is definitely an option to take into consideration. Let's say that you don't want to dish out all of that money to get a stand or a dock of some kind. Owltree, they have a stand that is here that is $8.99 that you can buy on Amazon. It's inexpensive, it has air vents for this, and it's honestly just, it does the job. There isn't much else that I can say. There are rubber pads on the bottom that are there to hold it in place wherever you decide to go ahead and put it, and as far as a stand is concerned, it does the job. It also holds the Asus ROG Ally, it holds the Nintendo Switch as well as the Nintendo Switch Lite, so whatever it is that you want to use this for, you can use it without having to worry about it. Listen, I know that the Steam Deck comes with a case. I get it, and it does a really good job in terms of protecting the Steam Deck, and it just comes with it, so you don't really have to pay for anything extra. But tomtoc, they sent me the Steam Deck case to go ahead and review, and ever since I got it, it's just been my go-to for protecting my Steam Deck whenever I'm not using it or whenever I'm traveling. It's lighter, it has a smaller footprint overall, and it pretty much does the same job in terms of protecting the Steam Deck. The only downside that I see to this is that you lose that spot on the back to house your AC adapter for charging your Steam Deck. But if you're traveling, you can just put it in the bag and just, you know, move on. This overall is still going to have a smaller impact, and there's enough space to store either SD cards or whatever you want to go ahead and put in there. There's a little flap that's there, and it also protects the screen as well. At $23.99, guys, if you want to upgrade and have something that's a little bit better than what you already have, that has a smaller footprint, albeit no AC adapter, but whatever, this is definitely something that I would recommend. Skull & Co, they make all sorts of accessories for all sorts of devices or platforms or whatever it is that you need. So when I found Thumbgrips for the Steam Deck, I knew that I had to go ahead and check them out. Personally, I don't play too many first-person shooters on the Steam Deck itself. In fact, I prefer to play more RPGs than anything else. So I wanted this more to protect the thumbsticks or the joysticks themselves than actually improving my FPS accuracy. There are 3 different types of thumb grips that come with this. You have your Skin Grip, your FPS Master, and your CQC Elite. They essentially increase the height by 2mm, 7mm, and 3mm respectively. Overall, it does the job. It protects your thumbsticks, so you don't have to worry about it actually wearing and tearing. And I personally don't use the touchpad gyroscope, so I'm fine. And at $10.99, it does the job. You don't really have to worry too much about it. Is there something that I didn't talk about in this video that you would recommend? Let me know in the comments, because I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'm always trying to improve my overall gaming experience on the Steam Deck itself. If you want to hear my thoughts on the Steam Deck 5 months later, click this video over here. And if you want to hear my thoughts on the Steam Deck versus the Asus ROG Ally, then click this video over here. Until next time, guys, I will see you on the next one. Peace.